Hello and welcome to another Royal Reviewer live weekly chat. I hope you've all had a voluptuous week. I know I have, but there's not been too much going on with the Royals this week. Again, for the second week running, most of the Royals are on their own summer holidays, wherever they are. Most of them will be up at Balmoral. They do visit the Queen in drips and drabs, as we say in the UK. So they'll all spend different weeks up with the Queen at Balmoral at some point. Sometimes the Queen, when she's up in Scotland, does charter a yacht, kind of a little bit like the days of the Royal Britannia, and she sails around the Scottish Highlands. Now, we're not sure whether she's doing that this year or not. In fact, we don't even know if Prince Philip is there, because on Sunday, when the royals were seen arriving for church, basically he wasn't in the car with the Queen. So we think he's not actually joined her yet, but we'll find out tomorrow when again it's church. So I will keep you posted on that. Now, I'm going to find the chat window, which I should have left open, and then I can say all of the hellos. Hello to Van Al Girl, who says, hi there, have you had a good week? Yes, I have, and I hope you have too. Nina says hello. HW says, hi, Elliot. And James Med is here too, so hello to you. So please let me know. I mean, this is going to be quite an open chat. I haven't really got that many notes, so it's over to you guys to ask kind of what you want. I've got some guidance notes, but you know, basically it's over to you. I also want to put it out there straight away, whether you're watching this on catch up or whether you're live in the chat room today. Please let me know what you think about all these different Princess Diana or Diana, Princess of Wales documentaries that have been out for the anniversary of her death. Let me know. There's a new one coming out soon, this week in fact, well next week, called Diana, the Day Britain Cried, which is going to be aired on ITV in the UK. So yes, another documentary, this time focusing on her funeral, and obviously in the wake of her death, how Britain was overcome with grief. So another documentary, lots of more, you know, different snippets have come out from this. I have done a couple of videos on it. Let me know what you think about them all. I'm not personally a huge fan of them, so just let me know what you think, and we'll see. Jen says hello. Steve says hello. Glennis says hello and nice to see you. Hello to you, Glennis. Jamie's here giving me some claps. Peggy says, Queen for me, how are you doing? You missed the Queen. Yes, well, obviously the Queen's on holiday, so we aren't going to be seeing too much of the Queen while she's safely installed, if you like, at Balmoral. We'll obviously see her in the autumn. But yeah, we won't be seeing a lot. I mean, hopefully church tomorrow on Sunday, I'll be able to get some pictures to you of the Queen, and hopefully Prince Philip too. Jen says hello, and Steve says, I think there is too much raking up the past with all these documentaries. Yes, I would agree. And you think she should be left to rest in peace. And yes, I think you quite echo my own sentiments on that. You know, I want to be hearing lots of nice, happy memories from the people who knew her. You know, why not talk to the staff that used to work with her closely? You know, why not get nice little funny anecdotes about her and her life and her nature? I would much rather be hearing about that than raking over the past, basically. So I think the tone of the documentaries around her death have been wrong. Really, I think they've been the wrong tone. I think we need to focus on people's happy memories of her. What do you think? Let me know. Glennie says, oh dear, I'm frozen on your screen. Refresh. If ever I freeze up or you can't hear me, please just try and refresh. Shelzar, have I said that right? No, Shazar says, first time here, curious to see what this question and answer is like. Well, basically, for those of you who don't know, if it's your first time, you just say hello in the chat window that you can see. If you've got a question, you can ask me any question about the royal family, and if I can answer, I will. If not, I usually have a little army of people here in the chat who are really good with Google, who can do a lot of fact check. So if I'm not entirely sure of something, we have a lot of fact checkers here. We all like to learn together. You know, if there's bits and bobs that we don't know, nobody knows everything about the royal family. It's fun to learn together. It's fun to be part of a community, and it's nice to get together once a week and have this chat. So, you know, just it's over to you guys. You know, basically you guys control this chat and the direction that this conversation goes in. I have a few notes that I've got penned. I do this every week. You can see my notes from previous weeks, but basically I don't have to stick to them. I don't really have a schedule. I don't have an agenda. It's just over to you guys. Marissa says hello, so hello to you, and hello to Fuzzy Puppet. And you're watching me from work. Well, I hope you're okay to watch me from work. James says, I watched the 2-part 4 hours, a couple of new things. It does take a toll on the viewer. I just want to see the 2 princes are in. Yeah, I mean, some of these documentaries, they do go on, should we say, and they don't necessarily reveal a lot that's new. And, you know, especially the documentary In Her Own Words, I would have liked to have seen more of her own words. I mean, yes, it's things that were out there already, you can find on YouTube, but some of these documentaries are very heavily, you know, biased and directed, and they're too edited in my view. So I like to see something a little bit more raw. You know, if you're going to make a documentary about Diana in her own words, let it be her own words. Let her speak. And I'd much like to, you know, relive happy memories from the people that knew her. That's the sort of things that I really want to see. Nina says, I agree, there's been too much about Diana and you're thinking of their poor sons. And I think we can all think about William and Harry at this particular time. 20 years have passed since their mother's death, and, you know, I think it's important for them to mark it privately and respectfully. HW says, Elliot, I enjoyed your new video on aspects of my life, which is my other channel, my second channel, and my shopping excursion. Also, my trip to the metalworks was wonderful. And you're asking, is Ludlow Castle close to me? It's fairly close. I mean, it's not really close, as in, you know, a 10-minute drive, but it's fairly close. But yes, I would quite like to go there at some point, and maybe show you a castle. But yes, my other channel is called Elliot Phillips Aspects of My Life, and please go there. There are, you know, some vlogs, and I'm trying to get to grips with vlogging. And in my last video, I did make a point of saying how difficult it is to vlog when you're out and about in public. Have you tried it before? What did you think? You kind of seem a bit funny. I mean, I do it from my phone, so when you're there with your phone and you're talking to the camera and you're kind of filming around, you do kind of feel that people are looking at you and, you know, wondering what you're up to, especially when everyone else isn't doing it as well. So let me know your own thoughts on vlogging and check out my other channel. Okay, I'm going to get back to a few more questions and comments. Angela Lawrence says, why have there so many staff people leaving their posts? There was another report today that Prince Charles's right-hand man was the latest. There have been a lot of changes in the royal household. Obviously, we know that Prince Philip has retired from formal royal duties. So we know that, you know, some staff will have had to have gone from him, although he and the Queen, you know, do share some staff, so not everyone had to go. But yes, there has been lots of changes. There have been natural changes. Lots of natural changes, you know, happen. You know, natural wastage, people just coming to the end of their natural posts. Of course, being replaced by others. I mean, it's just that sort of natural turn around. And sometimes it happens all at once. There has been talk about Prince Charles possibly trying to merge some of his household in with the Queen's. I don't think that's going to happen, as in the Queen's going to get rid of all her staff and Prince Charles is going to move his in. I think there will be a gentle handover. But no, all these posts that people are leaving are being refilled. So it isn't that yet. And we're going to get to another point that's kind of similar to that, so that's kind of leading on, and that is the talk this week that the Queen is considering that when she reaches 95, of course she's 91 now, but when she reaches 95, that she might be seeking to ask the British government to make Charles Prince Regent, and then we would enter a regency period. Now, I'm not sure if that is completely true. I mean, we are in very unprecedented, uncharted waters. You know, the Queen actually doesn't fulfill, and I did make a video on this, so you can please watch the video, but the Queen doesn't actually fulfill any of the criteria for there to be a regency. So there would really have to be kind of a change to the Regency Act, or some kind of an amendment that says that simply just old age is a criteria for there to be a regency. So that would have to happen first before that happened. You know, maybe plans are underfoot to get that change put in there fairly soon, so that when the time does come, it can just happen. I think probably the government would approve it. I don't see why not. But there would have to be a change, because the Queen isn't, she's got her mind, she's of sound mind. She's not absent from the nation, she's not overseas. You know, she hasn't got some kind of disability which means that she can't fulfill her duties. Yes, she's got old age, which means she's slower up, you know, walking, and maybe can't do the stairs, but it doesn't mean that she's incapacitated. It just means that she's suffering from the usual typical ailments of old age. I have my tea, and I hope you have your favourite drink. So back to my point, is that the Regency Act, I believe, would have to be changed to just incorporate old age. So let's see what happens with that. We'll have to wait and see. H.A. Bracken says, I thought the one with William and Harry was very positive. Yes, because it was their kind of creation. They had the say-so on what went out there. It was a positive outlook. It looked at the work that she did and what she meant to people and the charities and to them as children. Her sons, and how much they missed her, and would have loved for her to have been around. But it was very heavily, you know, edited. It was very much a front that they wanted to put out there. I still think it was a fairly accurate front, but it was, you know, make no mistake about it, it was very heavily edited to what they wanted to put out there. Nina says, I did enjoy the 2 videos and my shopping trip. If you want to check out my shopping trip, do go and check it. James says, has series 2 of Victoria started in the UK? We have to wait till January 2018. It's not started yet. It's due to start in the autumn in the UK. I can't remember the exact date. Maybe someone can check on Google. But no, we don't have to wait as long as you do. And I think it's pretty much the same pattern with the last series or season, as you say overseas. But I can't wait. It's going to be a really good one. And I'm just going to reply to a text because I did have a text come through, and I think I do need to respond to it. So there, I sent my text message. So let me read another question. Okay. Nina says, tell us about your brooch. This one is the Prince Albert brooch. Sometimes it's known as the Prince Albert, sometimes it's known as Queen Victoria's brooch, but I'm going to go with Prince Albert's brooch. And it's a brooch that he commissioned for Queen Victoria for her wedding, to him, obviously. And it's a replica. It's not an exact replica. It's not from the official Buckingham Palace website. On the actual one, the stones surrounding the blue sapphire are much larger stones, and there's less of them. But basically, you get the essence. It's a large sapphire surrounded by diamonds, and I really do like it. And that's basically the history of it. But also, Prince Albert did have other replicas of this brooch made for his daughters. And we do believe that Princess Anne has one. One of them came up for sale, and the Queen apparently bought it back for her. And if you look, you can find photos of Princess Anne wearing a brooch very similar to this, which we believe to be one of the originals that Prince Albert had made for Queen Victoria. Susan says, hello everyone. Do you think Prince Harry will pop the question soon? Soon. I do actually think soon. I mean, obviously that is speculation, but I do think soon, if he hasn't already. If we think back to his Africa trip, Prince William did also propose on a trip to Africa to Catherine. So if Harry hasn't already, I think he will do soon. I think we will probably be due an announcement in September or October, maybe even as late as November, possibly with a wedding in the spring. Of course, that is speculation, but I do think things are pretty serious. I do think Prince Harry wants to settle down fairly quickly. He said that himself. And Meghan seems to be the girl, whether you like her or not. So we'll have to wait and see. Of course, that is my own take and my own opinion on it. Please let me know your thoughts. But I do think, you know, expect something possibly September, October, or November. Jen says, who cares about Markle? And Jen says, the Queen Mother doesn't like her. Well, I think you mean the Queen, because obviously the Queen Mother did pass away. But there is, I mean, who knows what the Queen thinks about Meghan Markle? The Queen doesn't give interviews, she doesn't talk to people. Any information that's got out there saying what the Queen thinks, I would take with a pinch of salt. And I would probably classify it as fake news. Beware of the fake news channels. There are a lot of fake news channels on YouTube that are giving out false information. If on my channel something's my own opinion, I will say it's my own opinion and why it's my opinion. I'll give you facts to back up why I think something. I'll also give you, I'll give you the facts straight. But a lot of channels out there present opinion or just pure made-up stories as fact, and they're not. They really aren't. They're just a complete pack of lies. So if you've heard somewhere that the Queen doesn't like Meghan Markle, I wouldn't necessarily believe it. I'd want to know what the source was, because in the UK we haven't heard anything of the sort. So I think it's just something made up to get views. Okay, let's go back up. I think I've got a lot of catching up to do with the comments. Okay, Catherine says, hello everyone, glad to join you this week. It's good to have you. Steve says, yes, please go to Ludlow Castle, so much history. And Jamie says, Jen, did you dig her up and ask her? Obviously, because the Queen Mother has passed away. Glenys says, how do people know what the Queen thinks? Exactly, I think I've just spoken about that. Let's go down a few comments. Okay, Shazar says, I'm curious to see what happens with the documentaries. My aunt and uncle had dinner with the royal family at Buckingham Palace in the early 90s. Wow. Not sure if she was there, but my aunt was devastated. Well, it'd be good if you could find out and let us know in a future chat. Annette says, hello all, hope you are well. And she says, oh, I'm wearing one of the new brooches. I am, one of my latest acquisitions. And you're saying a lot of support staff seems to be jumping ship. Jumping ship, or just natural wastage coming to the end of your, your career. I mean, a lot of people are retiring and not just leaving. One of Catherine's staff got married, so she's leaving because she wants to devote, her time to her new husband and potential family. So, I think it's just a lot of natural occurrences going on right now, and I don't think we should read too much into it. Shazar says, after her death, so I'm guessing she was, and you were quite young then. Jamie says, arrogant to the media to call Robert Johnson a senior courtier. And oh dear says, hi Elliot, late again. Don't worry, you can always watch on catch up. And back to Jamie's comment, I hadn't actually heard that they had called Robert Johnson a senior courtier. Maybe I've missed that story. Annette says, I hope doesn't make you hope that the Queen doesn't make him a regent. And she's very fit. She is indeed, but you know, perhaps she's thinking to herself that she does want to, you know, take a little bit of a retirement when she's 95. Of course, we've still got quite a few years to go before that. She's 91, and it's, you know, a lot can happen in the intervening years. David says, what will history write about the Queen? Well, I mean, we already have, you know, lots of books about the Queen that have been written, you know, in the sort of contemporary style. Of course, in the future, I mean, let's fast forward to, say, 100 years. You know, when lots of documents have been released that are, you know, presently classified, because lots of documents are released, you know, 50, 60, 70 years, you know, after a person dies. So let's just say, you know, in 100 years, we've got all the information, all the documents. Then, you know, historians can sift through all of that and really paint a complete picture of what's gone on. In this time, we can't really say what that is. You know, but in 100 years' time, 50 years' time, historians will have a much clearer view on the Queen and her life and what she thought. Maybe even have access to her diaries. We know that she does keep a diary in pretty much the same way Queen Victoria did. So, you know, we will have a lot more of an insight. Whether we will be around to actually, you know, get the benefit of that, I don't know. Depends when information is released, but you know, certainly for the future, people will have a very interesting read, I'm sure. Jamie says, I don't think she will stand down if she's still able. She'd only stop if she was incapacitated. I would probably agree there. Dawn says, hi everyone, better late than never. Hello to you, Dawn, and I hope you're well. HW says, Elliot, I just recently watched the Andrew Morton documentary. It was very interesting to find out everything he went through in publishing Diana, Her True Story. And there is a revised version out now for the 20th anniversary. But yes, I mean, 25 years ago it was. And wow, I mean, hasn't time flown? Jamie says he doesn't have his favourite drink. Well, go get it. Odia says, what if the Queen would rather not work if she could not walk and needed a wheelchair? She might not want to do that. Yeah, I mean, if she couldn't walk, you know, there's a potential, you know, you could possibly go to the Regency Council and say that she's incapacitated. You know, I mean, it wouldn't be a huge stretch for that, but if she's still of sound body at 95 and still of sound mind, I still think there would have to be a change to the Regency Act for that. Mark says, we need more royal decorated tea mugs. I did have one as a present, and every week I keep forgetting to bring it out, so maybe next week. Somebody remind me on Twitter or Facebook. I do have Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, all under Royal Reviewer, if you want to check them out. The link to them is in every single description of every single video, so just check any video. Glennis says, do you think the public will accept Camilla as Queen? I think you're probably saying that because of all the different polls that have been out saying that, you know, people don't want her as Queen. And my simple answer to that is, it doesn't matter whether people accept her as Queen. She will be Queen. You know, in our law, the wife of the king is a queen. The law hasn't changed. There's no precedent in the UK of there ever being a princess consort. It was only ever an intention for her to be called and styled princess consort. But the reality is that as soon as Charles is king, she's queen. And it matters not one jot what the public think. It's not Big Brother. We can't vote them in and out. And actually, you know, all these other polls and media talking about, you know, should the monarchy skip Charles and go straight to William? I actually think that it's going to be more destructive for the monarchy if they skip Charles, because it kind of raises the question, why have a monarchy at all? Why not just elect a head of state. You know, if you want to choose who your monarch is, why have one? Just elect a head of state. So for those of you who really love the monarchy, for it to survive, it has to be Charles. It has to follow that order, or else you open up the monarchy to basically being destroyed. It has to be Charles. That's the order. William will get his turn. You know, and because of the Queen's old age and her long reign, the chances are that his reign won't be necessarily that long anyway. I mean, who knows? But William will have his day. And I think for the monarchy to survive, it needs to be Charles. So I think everyone needs to stop all the talk about skipping Charles and, you know, not accepting Camilla as queen, because she has to be. She has to be for the monarchy to survive. You know, that's basically what it boils down to. Dawn says, what do the monograms on the gates of Balmoral stand for? Do you know what? I can't actually picture them in my head, but I could make a future video on that. Yeah, that would be a really good video. Thank you for the idea. Oh dear says, your Albert brooch looks great on sunflower yellow and grey accessories, which is kind of one of the reasons why I selected this brooch, because I thought it would stand out really good on the yellow. And Jamie says, I think that brooch is more like Diana's. I would probably say so too, although on the site I got it from, they also did a Diana one, and I'm imagining maybe perhaps the Diana one is very similar to this, maybe slightly larger. I mean, I wouldn't know unless I actually purchased it, but I don't want to sort of buy another one and get one pretty much the same. I quite like this one anyway. And in a previous week, I did actually wear this on a choker, a bit like Diana did, and it does look fairly convincing as a Diana brooch. And of course, you could buy separate strands of pearls if you wanted, and actually mount this on pearls and actually wear it a bit like a pearl choker like Diana's. Shazar says, as a non-British, I would prefer to see William getting the crown. Again, I just think it's such a bad idea to skip a generation. You can't skip one. It would open the monarchy up to so much, basically, destruction. I really do think it would. And I do think it has to be Charles. Marissa says, you have to go. Thank you for all the videos. Thank you guys for watching. I think I'd like to take this opportunity. I touched on it briefly last week in last week's chat, but I want to talk to you again about it, because I wanted to tell you that if you notice any changes to my videos, to the kind of words that I use in my titles or the descriptions, or even if you guys tend to type in keywords to search for videos, you may not find my videos, simply because YouTube has introduced a new feature designed to protect the community, the YouTube community, from videos that contain hate speech, racial comments, homophobia, all those kind of nasty videos that we all don't want to see on YouTube, which I agree with. I completely agree with. But YouTube has introduced a new algorithm, a computer that searches videos, that looks at your keywords, looks at your descriptions, looks at your tags, maybe even looks at your thumbnails, I don't know. And it basically chooses videos which it thinks are hateful, incites violence, has swear words, and basically marks the videos as not all advertiser friendly, even if those videos meet all the community guidelines to be on YouTube. And my channel, which is a PG rated channel, it's family friendly, and a lot of my videos, including lots of my new videos, have been targeted as not all advertiser friendly, which means that YouTube won't run adverts on my videos. It means I don't get any compensation for the time that I spend making the videos. And it also has the downside of YouTube not recommending my videos to people in recommendation lists, which is really bad. And my channel has suffered. My view count has gone down. All my channel views, everything's just plummeted Basically YouTube got it all wrong. You know, instead of targeting keywords that they think might be, you know, hateful, they need to start just putting appropriate adverts on appropriate videos. Not every video is all, it's going to be appropriate for all advertisers. So yeah, my videos have been hit, but there is a couple of ways that you can help me. For some reason, it doesn't like the word prince or princess. So if I stop using the word prince or princess or even queen in my videos, I don't know how I'm going to do it. It's going to be really difficult. But if you notice that my descriptions and everything is slimmed down, that's why. It's so that actually YouTube can help you to find it when you're searching for it. But there are some things you can do to help. And I've made some notes of it here. If you're subscribed to my channel, make sure you've also hit the little notification bell icon, which means that even if YouTube is not recommending my videos, you will be notified every single time I post a video, so you will never miss one. So please go to my channel, the front page of my channel basically, where it would usually say subscribe, and hit the notification button. That will make sure that you get all the latest videos that I make. The next one you can do is to watch all my videos to the end. And I know that this sounds really weird, but I did do a little check about how YouTube promotes videos and how it ranks videos. And basically, the more watch time you've got, so if someone watches a video from the start right to the very end, that video gets ranked higher, which means that there's more likelihood that it will be put out there for people to find. So please watch all my videos straight to the end, don't skip. Replay them. You know, just re-watch my old videos, please. That also gets up the rankings. Watch the adverts to the end. Videos apparently that have their adverts watched, or even, you know, if you just click on the advert, even if you don't even have any intention of buying anything, those videos get rated a lot higher. Another tip I had from a different YouTuber is leave my playlists running while you're at work. Leave my playlist running while you're asleep. Leave it running. You know, that again helps to, you know, get my videos noticed. And in a time where, you know, YouTube is marking my videos as not advertiser friendly, this is all things that I can do to help combat it, and hopefully mean that my channel's not affected. So I hope you kind of understand some of those things. It's taken me a while to get used to. Another thing is, if my videos are flagged as not advertiser friendly, I have to get at least 1,000 views on the video before YouTube will even manually check the video. Now, coincidentally, every time they've checked one of my videos, they've always turned it back into being monetized. So I know that my content is still family friendly and YouTube still want it there, but this silly computer just keeps picking out my keywords. I really don't know why. Maybe it's because they're classing the royal family as political. But of course, we all know that the royal family is above politics. They're actually supposed to be non-political. That's the whole point. That's why Britain has a government which is political and a royal family, a head of state, which is non-political. So yeah, so basically it's taken me a while to adjust to this. So if you see any weird kind of changes in the way that I put videos out there, you know why. Well, I really do hope that just makes sense, really. And I'm going to go back to the questions next. I probably missed out a load of questions. Okay, Steve says we need a special celebration for 15,000 subscribers. Yes, well, I'm kind of nearly there. So yes. Okay, give me some suggestions. What should I do? What video should I make? What should I do in the live chats for 15,000 subscribers? Okay, let me go. Nipun Sharma says, good evening from North Watford. Hello to you. HW says, what's up with the banner ad? It's a YouTube function where basically if you pay a little bit of money, your post is actually seen straight away. So Nipun Sharma paid a little bit extra, and it means that basically I see her message or his message straight away. James says, I will do these tips on your videos. These chats are something I have been searching for since 1981. You're doing a wonderful job. Thank you. Now, I don't know how to go back up and myth and find all the different things that I kind of... Okay, if I've missed your comment, I've lost a load of comments. If I've missed your comment and it was really important, please retype it. So if I haven't read your comment, please type it again, because I seem to have missed or done something to the screen, and I've just lost loads of comments, basically. Okay, Catherine says, the Queen is 91, she is indeed, and in better physical shape than you are. Not sure I could keep up with her. I don't think many people could. She has a very, very busy schedule. David thinks the Queen will live longer than her mother. There's a good chance that might happen. And Annette says, thanks, Elliot. Good to know these things. Will do all I can to help the channel. I wish I had spare money to send you. I mean, no one has to worry about sending me money. If you do want to contribute, I'm on Patreon, Patreon. You can go there, and you know, for any of your donations, you get exclusive rewards. If you're a $10 a month or over subscriber on Patreon, you even get a personalized handwritten birthday and Christmas card from me. So if you want to help the channel, please go to Patreon, and you also get stuff back too. So I'd rather you did that than just send me money to support the channel. I'd rather that I'm able to give you something back too. So please check out Patreon. It's really good. Odia says, 15,000 subscribers. Show us drinking your tea from a royal mug and cookies from the royal gift shop. Oh, I could order royal snacks from the gift shop. That's a really good idea. Okay, please give this video a really big thumbs up if you want to see, for the 15,000 subscriber live chat, me drinking from a royal mug and eating royal related food from the palace website. Let me know. Okay, Jen says you can Western Union it out. I'm not sure what Western Union is. I've never heard of that. David says, Elliot, will Prince Charles become king? Will be, hang on. Do you know what? I've done something to the chat screen, and I kind of zoomed in on it. I don't know now how to zoom out. Let me try. Okay. Will he be paid more than his mom? The royal family isn't paid as such. They don't receive a salary. Some European monarchies do. The royals do receive a salary. They get their expenses paid, and they receive a salary, pretty much around about £1 million. The British royal family don't. They don't get paid a salary. The Queen, from the money that she receives from the Crown Estates, from the percentage profits on the Crown Estates, and from the Duchy of Lancaster, pays for her family to do the work that they do. So that's how the royal family is funded. Prince Charles is separate. He's funded from the Duchy of Cornwall, which pays for himself, the activities of Camilla, the activities of Prince William, Prince Harry, and Catherine at the moment. Of course, once Charles is king, Prince William will inherit that, and then Harry will come under his father, so under the Duchy of Lancaster. So basically, they are paid, if you like, from that, which is their expenses, and of course they have their own private wealth anyway. And let's not forget, Prince William and Harry have the legacy from their mother, the inheritance that she was able to leave them, shall we say. The Queen Mother's legacy was also split between different members of the family. So, you know, most of them are independently wealthy anyway. Okay, Jamie says, and have the standard in. Yes, I could put the royal standard in the background. Odia says, I read back on the comments and hope you will consider the suggestion to visit Ludlow Castle and have tea. I would love that. That would be really good. Okay, let me just see if I can get my. Aha! I've got my screen back. Okay, there we go. Okay, I can go back up now and read some of the comments that I've missed. I seem to have missed quite a lot. Okay. Okay. Glennis says, I'm thinking Edward VIII abdicated because Wallace was divorced. What's the difference between Charles and Camilla? Time. The difference is time. People's attitudes have changed. And let's not forget that the Church of England sanctioned the marriage of Charles and Camilla. It wasn't carried out in a church, it was a civil ceremony because obviously Camilla is divorced. Charles is technically free to marry because Diana passed away, so technically in the eyes of the church he is free to marry. It was Camilla that is still the divorcee, shall we say, but the Church of England did at the time announce that they recognise the marriage, so technically the marriage is recognised and legal. Vanal says, did you ever find out and get rid of that hideous roaming spider that was in my house? No, it actually escaped. It's still there somewhere in the house. Annette says, Harry better hurry up if he wants to have babies with her. She's what is known in medical terminology as geriatric for a first baby, which is why, another reason why I think that the announcement will be this autumn. I really do. Nicole says, whether you like her or not, what does that mean? Meghan has been treated like trash by the media. She's done nothing wrong. I would agree. I'm actually a Meghan fan. I think I didn't know about her before she started dating Harry, but then when I looked into it, you know, she does a lot of charity work off her own back. She's smart. She's intelligent. She's been to university, I do believe. You know, any success that she's had, she's created herself. She's hardworking. And I think she's good for Harry. But the press in certain circles, I think more or less overseas, have kind of trashed her a bit. In the UK, the press hasn't really come down on her very hard. But yeah, I mean, basically, people are going to have their opinion on whether they like her or not. But it doesn't matter what people think. It's up to Harry and whatever decision Harry is going to make or has made. James says, I thought that all the jewellery given by the monarch to family is returned to the sovereign upon the family member's death. Queen Mary would be so angry about the sales out of the family. No, I think it was Queen Victoria's circlet tiara that was actually kind of inherited out of the family. And that's what happens if it's inherited out of the family. It's out of the family. It's no longer a royal possession. And any pieces that have gone that way, I'm afraid, are legally able to be sold. But if they do have national importance, there can be an embargo put on them. And I think that's what's happened to the circlet. And I'm still waiting for information on what's happening with that. And as soon as I know, I will let you know. Jamie says, won't be 100 years because the monarchy probably won't last the next 50. Ooh, I don't know. I mean, again, who knows? It's purely speculative. Okay, now I think I've caught up with some of the comments. So I'm going to go back down again now. But Candice says, I'd like to learn a lot more about Queen Mary. Are you able to recommend a good book about her? I haven't read a book just on Queen Mary. She's been in quite a few books I've read about the Queen. So no, I'm unable to recommend a good one that I've personally read. But there are lots out there, so please do go and find one. Jamie says 46.5 million each year. That, I think that is pretty much the total cost of running the monarchy. But it doesn't mean that the Queen gets all that money to spend on whatever she wants. It has to go for paying for the work that the royal family carries out. You know, maintenance on the palaces and the royal households, paying for staff, paying for state banquets, paying for, you know, the royal travel when they go on tours, which have been set by the government on behalf of the nation. So she doesn't receive, you know, 46.5 million a year to spend on handbags. You know, that money basically has to fund the operations of the monarchy. Odia says, I think Charles actually wants to be king. I think he does too. And William's not ready or willing at the moment. He's fine waiting. I completely agree. I think he is fine waiting. I think he wants time to be a young family. Sherpa Patel says, if Charles abdicates, then you'll have King Andrew. No, it wouldn't do that. If Charles abdicated, it would go to his heir. So it would go to William, basically. So it wouldn't go back up the family tree stem and go the other way. Sherpa says, I don't think the monarchy would end. I do if Charles wasn't king. I really do. HW says, I just don't think Meghan Markle will be a keeper. You just don't see it. The bloodlines happen to be very important for the royal family. Again, I don't necessarily think so. I mean, you know, all throughout time, the monarchy has married, you know, in and out of different nationalities. In more recent years, we've had royals marrying, you know, quotations, commoners. So I don't think it would be a problem. I don't think it would be shunned. James says, the red boxes do take a lot of her time, and the Regency Act would take that away from her. I want to think the Queen and Duke are sitting by the fire being visited by their family. Yes, but don't forget, you know, these royal boxes and all the work the Queen carries out is keeping her mind active and sharp. So, you know, a lot of the work that she does could be, you know, attributed for her health. So, you know, let's not take away too much from her. David says, wow, that's not a lot of money. What's that equivalent to in dollars? Ooh, 45 million. 46 million, I would probably say, is something like $60 million, something like that. But you know, if you take that and the cost of running the White House and funding President Trump, I reckon the White House and President Trump cost a lot more than $60 million. I'm sure someone can find that out. So in the UK, I think we have really good value for money. Jamie says, Royal Reviewer, somehow in the same basket as Britain First YouTube channel. Yes, going back to the whole, you know, YouTube thing that's going on. And by the way, this isn't affecting just my channel, it's affecting so many other channels, you know, people's gaming channels where they might be using swear words, or it might be an over 18 game. You know, basically anything that's classing as political has been affected. You know, basically, unless you're posting videos of kittens, you know, your videos are being flagged and your channel has been affected. And it's basically, it's going to affect a lot of output that YouTubers are creating. And it's going to, you know, let's face it, YouTubers don't have to put content out there. You know, we do it because we want to and we enjoy the subjects and topics that we talk about. But it takes time. And if YouTube is taking away, you know, some of the how can I say it? I suppose it's kind of like compensation for your time, you know, and it's not a lot of money. We're not talking a lot of money here. The big, massive YouTubers with millions of subscribers, they make the money. The little channels like mine, we just make enough to compensate us for our time, which is nice. But you know, that kind of thing drives me to keep making videos. You know, when I come in from my full-time job and I'm really tired, if I'm thinking, well, it's going to get yellow flagged straight away, I'm going to be more inclined to think, well, why bother? You know, I can just go, you know, and I can find out the information and keep it to myself. I don't have to carry on making the video. I like to do it because it's a hobby. But, you know, if I'm not being compensated for my time, it's going to make it a lot more difficult. And I think you'll find the same with a lot of YouTubers. If you watch, there are lots of videos on YouTube about this topic. You know, type in the search bar after this chat, not all advertiser friendly, and you will see so many YouTubers have been affected. So YouTube really do need to just sort this out, please, because my channel is PG, it's family friendly, and it's really annoying that this channel has been put in the same bracket as hate speech. You know, this channel is not about hate speech. You know, it's not white supremacy, it's not racist content, it's not homophobic content. It's, you know, any advertiser could advertise on this channel. So I really just don't get it. So please sort it out. Okay, moreover, David says, of Prince Charles, if Prince Charles becomes king, will he be... Oh, I've answered that one, because of course I went back up the comments and back down again. Susan says, everyone watching, hit the like button. Please do. Please give me a big thumbs up as well on all the videos, on all my videos. You know, leave a comment. That also helps with the ratings that the YouTube algorithm, you know, I mean, God knows really how the algorithm works, but people are saying, you know, if videos get interactions like thumbs up or comments or a big watch time or replays or watching the playlists for a long time, it helps. So please, you know, try and help this channel. You know, that's one way that you can help, and it doesn't cost you a penny. It really doesn't. So please help. HW says, Elliot, that is ludicrous. Tell us what we can do to help. Well, I think I've just kind of gone through what you can do to help. So please, you know, do those things that I've said, and it may well help. Okay, I think I've finally got to the bottom of those comments. So I'm going to see if I've missed anything from my own list. Let's have a look. Oh, Big Ben. Big Ben, I made a video about Big Ben. It's due to undergo a 4-year renovation program, including the mechanism that strikes the bell. And of course, I'm not sure if you know, but the only thing about Big Ben that's actually Big Ben is the bell. It's the big massive bell. The tower has been renamed the Elizabeth Tower. So it's the Big Ben inside the Elizabeth Tower. It's all being renovated. There's going to be a lift added. The mechanism's getting overhauled for the first time in, what was it, 140 years or something like that. You know, the clock face is all being reglassed. It's being all repainted and all maintained, basically. And it will take 4 years. But they said that the bells will be turned off for 4 years, and there's been a big, massive uproar about it. And I think that is being looked at again. So we will see whether Big Ben does indeed go silent. And we've actually spoken about everything that's on my list. So it's over to you guys. Okay, I think I found some comments. I don't know what's going on with my chat box this week. Okay, let me try and reload the chat box again. I've done something to the chat box. Okay, right, I'm only seeing up the chat box as far as Jamie's comment, which says US taxpayers $20 million each time he goes. Jamie says the US president costs billions. Exactly. So, you know, we are getting a very good value for money out of the money that we pay. Carolyn says, Jen, it really doesn't matter if we like Meghan or not. Once Majesty gives permission, it's none of our concern. Exactly. So basically, once Harry pops the question, if indeed he does, and the Queen says yes, he's good to go. Okay, Carolyn says she will help support this channel as much as she can. Jamie says Big Ben won't ring while I'm there. Well, I'm not sure whether they're going to turn it off quite yet. It may get a reprieve. Annette liked the Big Ben video. The first Mrs. R says, I'm surprised they don't just play a recorded version. That was one of my comments. I actually tweeted the London Council and the Mayor of London and the Houses of Parliament. I said, you know, why don't you just record the bell and have it playing out on a loudspeaker for 4 years? You know, at least we'll get to hear it. Maybe they will. Maybe that might be one of the solutions. We don't know. Karen says, Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth had fingers on the wrong keys. We'll blame it on age. Oh dear says, Westminster isn't Westminster unless you can hear Big Ben. Nina's having to leave early, so goodbye to you, Nina, and hope you can join us next week. And Jamie says it's already been turned off. Oh no. Well, maybe it will get a reprieve. Okay, so sorry if I've missed some of your comments again. If I haven't read your comment, please retype it and I will answer it. The first Mrs. R says, if he proposes, what ring do you think he might use, since William used their mother's ring? There was talk that he may dismantle a piece of Diana's jewellery to make a ring and possibly a suite of jewellery. There was talk of Diana's emerald choker, which, you know, it has quite a nice, you know, good selection size stones, which could be, if the rumours are true, dismantled to create a ring, perhaps an emerald ring surrounded by diamonds. Some of the other emeralds could be used to make some earrings. Possibly some other stones could be used to make a new pendant. So perhaps he will use some existing jewels from Diana. Maybe even he would give his new bride the sapphire choker. We don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Okay, Fuzzy Puppet says, I wonder if we will see William and Harry in the upcoming Star Wars. I doubt it, but they do like Star Wars because they were at an engagement once where they had the lightsaber and they had a bit of a lightsaber fight. So I'm sure they would love to, but I'm sure they won't. Jamie says, maybe they'll turn it back on when I come. Maybe, who knows? You could always try tweeting. Okay, Meghan says, when is the best time to send the Royals Christmas cards? Last year, I did it in November, and I received most of them just before Christmas, but it was quite tight. So this year, I'm going to send them in October, just to, you know, give that little bit of a head start. I know some people send them in September, but I think that's a little bit too early to send Christmas cards. So I think I'm going to wait till, you know, maybe the last week in October and send them, and we'll see what happens. Okay, Shazar says, who all does the title Your Grace refer to? Is it for the royal family or extended to dukes and earls? I haven't actually heard them being referred to as Your Grace, but I think it also means for royal dukes. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sure you all will if I am, but I think a royal duke with a HRH can also be referred to as Your Grace. Susan says, did Harry get back from Africa? We haven't seen him, but we know that Meghan Markle, I do believe, has gone back to work, filming something for Suits. So I believe the African holiday is indeed over, but we haven't seen head nor tail of Harry. Jamie says the gates on Balmoral say GR and MR. Yes, George for George V and Mary. Carolyn says, here in Canada, they had it in the news, the two princes had dressed up stormtroopers in a scene. Oh, I didn't know that. I hadn't heard that. We haven't heard anything in the UK. And, you know, I don't know if that's true or not. It's not without the realm of possibility, but I seriously doubt it. But we'll see. Jamie says, Your Grace is for any duke. There you go. Dawn says, when the Queen changes residence, does her staff go with her? or is there separate staff for each one? There will be a core staff for each residence that stay there to look after it. But of course, you know, all the staff that work closely with the Queen wherever she is will move with her. I think including the royal chefs and that type of stuff. Oh dear says, oh good reminder about sending the royals Christmas cards, and you're going to give it a try this year too. I think everyone should, and I hope my experience last year has inspired people to do it again this year. Okay. And Susan says, good night, my dear. Karen says, getting ready for the Invictus here in Ontario and Toronto is getting busy. And you say your grace is also used to address an Anglican bishop. I think some other people have commented on that too. So if you're new to this chat, please leave me a comment in the comment section you can see. And do give this video a big thumbs up if you're enjoying it. Okay, James says, how many months before do we need to book for tickets to the palace? Oh, well, that was my dilemma this year. I left it too late to book tickets. So I would say as soon as they are released, book them online, because otherwise you run the risk of just turning up and maybe being let in, maybe not. And I ended up cancelling my whole trip because of it. So please, whenever they announce that the tickets are available, book them then. Please do. David says, what is the address to send Christmas cards to the Queen and the Royals? You can send any of them to Buckingham Palace and they will get to whoever you want them to get to. But I sent William, Catherine and Harry to Kensington Palace directly. But if you send them all to Buckingham Palace, they will all get to the correct place because most of my correspondence was marked as Buckingham Palace. So seemingly it all came from Buckingham Palace anyway. So just, I mean, you can even on the envelope just put Buckingham Palace, London. It will get there. But if you want to send them to the individual households, I also sent Charles and Camilla's to Clarence House. And you know, but anyone like Princess Anne or Prince Edward or Andrew, I would just send Buckingham Palace straight away. And it will get there to them. Shazar says, thank you for all the replies. You're welcome. I do enjoy doing it. Hello to Janet in Oregon. Odia says, I loved your Christmas card video compilation. Yes, I put a video this week of all my opening videos of my royal letters and cards from last Christmas. So if you want to see them all in one place, do go and check that video out. Carolyn says, well folks, it is now 6 p.m. and supper time here in Ontario. So night night and have a good week. And I hope you have a really good week too. Oh dear says, Harry is likely in Toronto now. Get ready for the games. I have my Invictus Games t-shirt to wear for that live chat. So that'll be good. Jamie says, because Jamie did book the tickets, he says, for Buckingham Palace, you need at least 3 weeks to book. I presume the same applies for all the palaces. Vanel's referring to my video about the Tudor rooms that were recently discovered under Greenwich Palace. And you find it really fascinating. And you hope more rooms will be found soon. I mean, of course, there's lots of Tudor history all over the place in Britain, probably waiting to be unearthed. And I hope we do learn more about it. Okay, Nicole says that Meghan actually returns to work in September, but I've heard that she's in Canada. Maybe she's with Harry getting ready for the Invictus Games. Shazar says, I live in Luxembourg, so it's nice to see the royals here over in the UK for all the ceremonies there. Oh dear says, your return mail from the royals comes from Buckingham Palace, because that is where their central post office is to stamp the mail. Well, there you go. But I do believe if you send it all to Buckingham Palace, it will probably get to the right place anyway. They'll probably just forward it on to the correct person. Okay, so I'm going to end this live chat here this week. Thank you all for an amazing chat. We've had lots of questions and we covered lots of topics. And I will be here again exactly the same time next Saturday, 10 o'clock GMT. And I'm also this week, for the coming week, going to try a few more different type of videos. Maybe a few more kind of chatty videos where I'm talking about royal topics. So maybe not necessarily the usual picture format, especially while the royal family life is quite quiet at the minute. It might be a good chance to try something a little bit different. So, you know, if you see some different types of videos, again, as I said, if you see different, you know, changes in the sorts of keywords I use and you're wondering why I'm not putting, you know, prince or princess in, don't worry, I'm just testing out the waters with this new YouTube algorithm. So I just thought I'd let you know all about that. So from me in Shropshire, the last thing left to say is goodbye, and I hope you all have a fabulous week. So again, from me in Shropshire, goodbye.